It looks like we are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Mining Market Signal. I apologize. I've got a couple of... It's fine. I'm getting notifications from this show going live on my phone, reminding me that this show is live. You'd think I would know because I'm running the show. But without further ado, let's jump straight into our crypto fear and greed index. Let me refresh the page here so we see exactly what today's score is. And we're still rocking a pretty high score of 72 for a net fear, or net greed rather, score. Not a net fear score, but definitely not an extreme greed score. This is a live show, so if you got comments, go ahead and put them in the comments section. Let me just say hello to David Lee and to Kevin Hawthorne, who are in the live chat right now. Thanks for spending the time with us tonight. If you have any questions at all, go ahead and put those in the live comments right now. If you're watching this after the fact, go ahead and ask a question down in the comments section. If you ask a respectful question, obviously we're going to give you a respectful answer and do our best as a community. And then, me running this channel, this show here, going to do my best to try to answer your questions too. We don't have quite the size where we would need to do super chats or anything like that. The chat is set to live, not prioritized or top comments or whatever. So I see every single comment that comes in. Please do ask those questions. Please do assist in answering those questions as other people have them coming in. And of course, since you're here, hit that thumbs up, share this video so more people come in and enjoy the fun all together, right? The more, the merrier. But let's take a look at that fear and greed index score again. 72, very, very healthy score, but it is kind of a reduction from previously where we saw scores of, there you go, 76, right? So since our last live stream when we saw a score of 76, it's since kind of toned down a little bit, but we're still net greed, right? So we are seeing a lot of people who are totally greedy, essentially being emboldened by the current price action of the markets. Deadwood says, hello all, hope you're all doing well. And hey, I echo that sentiment, guys. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for being here. But top news for today, I wanted to talk a little bit about beyond the fear and greed index. People who maybe aren't aware, the way that I handle the crypto fear and greed index is I treat it as something called a counter indicator. So whatever the fear and greed index says, I start to feel maybe the other way, right? If it says, hey, be greedy, I think, I should be cautious and maybe exercise a little bit of fear, right? And exercise some caution, not outright fear, right? Don't like get crazy with it. But when I see other people being greedy, it helps me think, okay, I've got to be more level-headed and not worry about euphoria. Maybe there are some coins that I should position myself out of, right? To get out of or average out of. And when people get really, really fearful, I think the opposite. That's the way I handle it. Of course, this is not advice. You make your own decisions. You have to take accountability for them. David comes in and says, thanks for the stream. Appreciate that. All right. So guys, tonight's news, let's talk about Solana. This is the white paper, and I didn't get the URL for the white paper put into the description of this video, at least not in time for live. There's a link in the live comments right now directly to the white paper for Solana, but I did want to talk briefly about it here. And this is a partially marked up or partially highlighted article by ForkFast or ForkFast News, and they do a great write-up of Solana and why people are so excited about it. Well, the bottom line is, right, spoiler alert, people are excited about Solana right now because it's making them money. Generally speaking, that's when people start to pay really close attention to different coin networks. Again, guys, thank you so much for sharing this video while we're live. That makes a difference. I know it sounds like I'm kind of harping on that point, but it really makes a difference if you share it while we're live. There are occasionally things that this platform doesn't like to share immediately, or that for whatever reason, the algorithm, we haven't just touch the algorithm in just the right way that it likes to be touched, so it doesn't always promote our videos, and definitely appreciate you helping out as well. But Solana, what does it do? Basically, it is a smart contract platform that allows people to build dApps, a bit of an Ethereum competitor. They don't position themselves like Polkadot to be an ecosystem that is meant to work with Ethereum so much as kind of position itself against Ethereum. There are Ethereum developers who I know, or Solidity developers who I know and talk to regularly, and a lot of them are extremely excited by the prospects of working with Solana. Why? Well, first off, apparently they say it deals with a blockchain trilemma, but more to the point, it does a hybrid consensus model. A lot of us are concerned about proof of stake, and when Ethereum goes to proof of stake, who knows, maybe some of those fears will be validated. Maybe some of our fears will be shown to be not quite as to be a little more unfounded than we thought. Maybe things will work out okay. But Solana started with, as a primitive, the design to have both proof of stake and then something that they call proof of history, consensus mechanisms as a hybrid. It helps them to prevent from attacks happening, but then also quick checks to make sure that the write-only database of a blockchain isn't quickly forked in the wrong direction or double spent or whatever else. It needs to sort of jive with their proof of history. I'm kind of paraphrasing at this point, but the point is that it's different. It's not just proof of work plus proof of stake or proof of work versus proof of stake. Solana is something different, and expect to do a deeper dive in the near future. But the other bottom line is it handles 50,000 transactions per second. This is huge, right? We see very few transactions per second coming through on Ethereum. We see fewer still coming from Bitcoin and other networks like it. And while that isn't the most important thing for a blockchain to do, it just depends on what the aim of that blockchain is. If you want it to be a smart contract layer, actually, transactional throughput is pretty important. It's really pretty important. You can build second layers that help with this, but you really need to have a lot of throughput at the base layer. So this is why so many investors are excited about Solana. They currently see DeFi running on top of Ethereum. They see NFTs being really, really popular. And now they see the price action of Solana going through the roof. It's ripping today, right? And so for them, they think, well, this is a win-win-win, right? It performs better, and it'll do all these other things that people are currently doing on Ethereum better, like NFTs and DeFi. And I got in early, so I'm going to get the best possible appreciation of this asset that I just bought a little bit of. So it's really not that complicated to figure out why people are excited about Solana, really. For me, this is not me shilling it, but I am saying and including it in this episode during our mining market signal to just say, hey, GPU miners, we've talked about for a while now, between EIP 1559 being pushed through with the London hard fork update on Ethereum, and then so many other things that are on the horizon for the Ethereum ecosystem. We've talked about alternatives, and Solana is absolutely proving right now that it should be taken seriously. I'll just put it that way. That's all it's doing, and that's all I'm saying by including it in tonight's episode. This is not me saying that we should stop mining Ethereum or that we should stop using Ethereum. It's just me saying that it's very clear that if we allow our own biases to cloud our judgment, we won't pay attention to competitors like Solana that are doing really well and that are coming up to take ground or to take a little bit of territory away and a little bit of that winning advantage away from Ethereum. We don't want to get left behind. And when Ethereum goes proof of stake, it may well be that Solana looks like a really good alternative to more dApp developers and to more Solidity developers even in the Ethereum world. So I had to bring that up on tonight's episode. I feel like I'd be irresponsible to you if I didn't just mention, look, it's got my attention. It's a shiny thing. It's doing really well in terms of price action. Now, as for me, Bitcoin, still the king daddy, right? It's still the number one. It's still absolutely the hardest money available, and it does that store of value play very well. It's very difficult for anybody else to come up and make a legitimate claim to being good hard money. Maybe Monero because it's private by default, but really there's a little bit of an issue with anybody else saying like, oh yeah, I'm going to be the next Bitcoin. No, you're not. You're not going to be the next Bitcoin. Period. And Solana doesn't try to be. So I wanted to bring that up. Solana tries to be something else. Got some live comments coming in. T-Bone Gaming says, Jay's 2 cents was talking about Ethereum today. I know. I left him a very scathing comment. I think that Jay's 2 cents needs to be much more cautious about talking about things he literally has no understanding of. It's one thing to understand IT. It's another thing to understand GPUs and to understand computers that can mine and maybe what they're capable of. And it's an entirely different thing to pretend like you understand the business aspect of mining, right? It's a totally different business model than how he characterized it on his live stream. He was very careless in just denigrating all miners and pretending like we're the ones accountable and responsible for the GPU shortage, when actually this time around, no, it was scalpers. And how do I know? Well, because I know people who both resell IT and consult or operate mining businesses at scale. So I know what one group was saying, and I know what the other group was saying, and I know who was taking the majority profits and standing in the way of supply chain. So Jay's 2 cents, if you manage to have this come across your desk, or if you happen to see this video, just in a friendly way, please stop fudding mining, because you actually don't know what you're talking about in this particular thing. And it's actually shown by the way, when you talk about it on camera, you've got a specific tell. You lose your poker face. And I'm sorry, but it's just painfully obvious for anybody who's watching that you don't know. Guys, it's rare that I actually talk that way about another creator, but Jay's 2 cents, you made it personal because we talk about mining and doing so responsibly. And you very irresponsibly denigrated all mining by lumping us all in with scammers and with scalpers. Not cool. Really not cool. Educate yourself. I got some other comments coming in. David Lee said, share the stream to Facebook and Twitter. Most of my family and friends have no idea I'm on crypto, so I guess I'm coming out of the crypto closet. Oh, snap. Okay, well, he's been outed. It's too late. It's too late. And we've got some other comments coming in. Ernal Swerve Gillian says, Gillian says, first time watching you. Thanks, YouTube algorithm, for letting me discover your channel. Like your streams far. Hey, appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, so guys, apologies. I don't normally talk that way about other creators. I don't think it's appropriate to discuss people. It's far better to discuss ideas, but let's keep the main thing. GPU mining as an idea should not just be dismissed as wasteful, right? As far as it being damaging to the environment somehow, should not be carelessly discussed as somehow being greedy because GPU miners somehow absorb all of the inventory that's supposed to go somewhere else. It's a free market. It's supposed to go wherever it can go. That's just how it works. And I don't think that it's okay to just carelessly characterize or mischaracterize GPU miners as somehow having something against the gaming industry or trying to keep business from going to the gaming industry. None of those things are true. And anybody who says that as thoughtlessly as it was mentioned today should be educated. So I'll just put it that way. It's not a personal attack. I don't like talking about people. But that idea that GPU mining is wasteful, it's just wrong-headed. So much of crypto mining comes from renewables, and so much of GPU mining is done by conscious miners who specifically go out of their way to decentralize networks by getting this hardware profile instead of ASICs. It's a pretty big deal. I was there on the front lines in 2018 when we were fighting for this, right? With the Equihash miners, the Equihash ASICs that came out of Bitmain. And I mean, I contacted so many of the project leaders and they know, right? They've got those private DMs and I could publish them if I wanted to. It's kind of a violation of their privacy. They've got those private DMs. I was one of the few people who was going around to every single crypto mining project or proof of work project that used the Equihash algorithm. And I just asked them very pointedly, I want to interview you publicly, no holds barred, and ask you about what your plans are for overcoming these ASICs. We fought too hard to get to where we are. And so to have people just carelessly say things like all GPU miners are terrible because they do this. Come on, man. You can do better than that. Really, you're a more intelligent person than that. So it's more complex than just making all GPU miners out to be boogeymen. All right, but Crypto Fear and Greed Index, we already saw we're still in a fear, in a greed side of the index, 72, not quite extreme greed. Let's take a look at TX Street. If you're not familiar with TX Street, this is a tool that allows us to visually take a look at the Ethereum blockchain real time. It's pretty darn cool. Real time, we get to see approximately what the cost for transactions are. Oh, hey, oh my gosh, really? Oh, they're showing us this stuff. It's also kind of cool because visually it looks a bit like South Park characters jumping onto little buses and stuff. On the right side, we've got Bitcoin. On the left side, we've got the Ethereum blockchain. You'll notice that more of these buses are leaving the station in the same amount of time that we wait for one of these buses than on Bitcoin. That's because of the block time or the nominal block time on Ethereum. It goes much faster. Right there, that's the gas price, 32 Gwei right now, with a median gas price of 35. And we do this precisely because on CoinGecko, it's typical to see the gas price be inaccurate. So TX Street helps us just as a tool figure out what the absolute state of fees on Ethereum are. Looks like right now the cost just to send ETH or Ether, the native token of Ethereum, is $2.31. That's a lot for just sending the native token around, the native utility token around. There's also the median contract fee, which is currently at $16.38. when would you use that? Like, what does the median contract fee represent? Well, it represents processing a smart contract on some place like an AMM or a DEX, 1-inch DEX, or maybe Uniswap, something along those lines, maybe a decentralized application, a DApp. So these are the fees that are associated with running your own, like initiating your own transaction with a smart contract. All right, we got some comments coming in as well. Magitas said, if any of that was true, then gamers are burning 10,000 times the amount of power as Bitcoin for no purpose. Right? This guy gets it. Yeah, your GPU mining, it's net. To use Jordan Peterson's framing of it, it's net energy positive because you're saving the energy in value. Right? Think about that for a second. It's net energy positive because the energy you spend is being saved in something of value. And what Magitas is saying is you can spend energy on gaming or VR or whatever, and it brings you a little bit of personal enjoyment, maybe, but it captures no value for anybody else. Maybe you're a live streamer and you create value that way. Sure, maybe. But for most people, they're just playing the game on their own in a non-collaborative way, solo, behind closed doors, making themselves fat, depressed, and lazy. You're providing zero value. You're working against the common good. You're working against your own good in that case. So just throwing it out there. Everybody needs balance. T-Bone Gaming says, very true, and I'm a gamer. Hey, here's the thing, man. Like, everybody has their hobbies, too. I don't mean to say that, like, mischaracterize all gamers as being, like, messed up. As being messed up or like somehow having massive character flaws. And I don't mean to like come across as like shaming people for being stuck in certain life habits that affect them. Just saying that, like, we know it's not a particularly healthy lifestyle if you do that all the time, right? Gaming all the time. You still have to go out and see people, right? You still have to get up and move. You still have to eat healthy food. You still have to get sunlight every single day, produce vitamin D so you don't, succumb to the ravages of whatever the current plague is or whatever, right? Like, I mean, you have to live a balanced life. And there's nothing about like just the hardcore gamer lifestyle that is balanced. 16-hour days, sitting in front of a screen, indoors, no sunlight for days on end. Like, in some cases, literally wearing like adult diapers and stuff so you don't have to get up. There are people who do some pretty nasty things to themselves for the sake of getting some kind of a competitive edge. Not good. Not good at all. Sandor B says, like my wife's hair dryer, I should put a meter on that. Hey, here's the thing, man. I'm just going to say there's nothing more valuable than improving your relationship with your wife. And if she wants to look right for you, I mean, really, really, praise heavens. Because, some women are not having that. They're not trying to look good for their husband. So kudos to you. All right. But this is TX Street, guys, jumping back into this. Here's what, the average costs are. Over on the Bitcoin side, the average or median fee for a transaction is 44 cents in US dollars. Guys, thanks so much for being here. I know I just put on a diatribe and I just kind of like ranted. And, here I am live streaming, right? Sitting no less than live streaming. But you do see a Swiss ball over there. So I do sit actively. I'm starting to consider just doing that while we're doing the live streams. I do sit actively. I've got a foam roller literally within arm's reach. I've got a massage gun literally within arm's reach. I've got a yoga mat literally within arm's reach. I've got weights outside. I've got a heavy bag outside, and I use them, right? So that's the thing. I am trying to practice what I preach here. Just a heads up. Just a heads up. And I try to keep myself right, eat well too. But, nobody's perfect. Just throwing it out there and making an effort here. But TX Street, those are our averages there. Fiat leak. Let's take a look to see where all the crypto in the world is going, or which fiat currencies are being used to purchase them. It looks like right now, just at this moment, the active trades coming in are in favor of Ethereum over Bitcoin. You see those two right there? When we stay on the main fiatleak.com page, it shows us how all the different cryptocurrencies are being purchased primarily by the US dollar. It just shows us that by default. Now, you may be able to switch to a different national currency or fiat currency in order to get a slightly different view. If you wanted to just look at the UK, for example, right? Or the British pound, you could do that. If you wanted to just take a look at rather the EU states and the euro, you could look at that. And we always see the default of the US dollar because that's the lingua franca, right, of fiat currencies. That's just what everybody speaks in, right? It travels very well, opens more doors internationally than any other fiat currency, right? They say cash is king, but that's not true. Cash is king if you have a US dollar. So Just throwing it out there. That's why we always go to that default right there. It just looks like it just flipped right now based on the live orders coming in. Ethereum was at about $6 million per second there of orders. Clearly something else has changed. So the orders being processed have flipped in favor of Bitcoin. Let's start with Bitcoin right now, though. Current price is $45,700. So yeah, 45.7. Really, really healthy price for Bitcoin. I'm really excited to see what our chart looks like later on. We skipped it a few days ago. Also, just a heads up, with this live mining market signal, I'm thinking that probably the best interval moving forward would be to do it 3 times a week. And I'd love your feedback. Would you like to see this Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night? Or would you like to see this maybe Monday, Wednesday, and got the doggo over here. Come on, buddy. Go. Mama. Everyone's just a little curious. You know what? He's smelling some potato salad from a dinner. That's what he's smelling. Or some chicken. Oh yeah, it's gotta be the chicken. He's like, there's meat in here. I know it. Can I have some? No, dog. Bad for you. You choke on the bones. But thinking that as far as this particular segment goes, thinking about streaming maybe 3, possibly 4 times a week. And then David is suggesting maybe Monday, Wednesday with a weekly recap on Saturday. You know, it sounds pretty good, actually. That'll help us recap based on when the report comes out for the Fear and Greed Index. That'll let us take the Friday evening Fear and Greed Index and then report on that Saturday morning. I kind of like that. I'll get together with Serpent X Special Forces, who streams, I think it's Crypto and Caffeine, on Saturday mornings, and see if I can coordinate with him. So we've got a really good in-between side, and we're not stomping over the top of other creators who stream on Saturday mornings. I believe Red Panda Mining does too, and DCA Adventure. So I'll get back to you on that, but kind of thinking 3 days a week for live content is a little better. And then I will be promoting a lot more post-produced media where we're more in like the 10 to 15 minute running length, maybe 20 minute running length for some of these other special reports. There's just so much that I want to be able to report on and give you guys updates about. And the live format, it feels almost restrictive as far as that goes, because it can take a little more out. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love spending this time with you guys. It's a lot of fun. But it can kind of take it out of me, and I just need to have that sharper edge to be able to bring you content in a more timely way. And the live format, if we just wait till the end of the day, it's kind of weird. Real News 2020 says we need a collab with Serpent and Sun. Good dudes, both. I'll reach out to them and see what they want to collab on. Maybe, Serpent and I have been meaning for a while to do kind of a Chia head-to-head friendly debate, right? Because he's kind of pro-Chia, and he's making money with it, which is good. I think he's already paid down some equipment. And so, yeah, maybe we do that. Serpent, if you're watching, man, we want to have that little friendly debate for a while, and there's nobody I'd rather do that with than Serpent, because he's a super cool dude. And then with Son of a Tech, maybe we do another one where we do a little bit of a debate about like whether or not it's important to start learning some of the fundamentals, not fundamental. I don't want to get confusing here. Some of the rudimentary tools for technical analysis, because he's been swayed by some other stuff. Hey, John Germain says, Seth, caught you on Crypto Wendy O this morning. Good job. Hey, thank you. Did she reuse a segment with me, or I think I'm supposed to go live with her again sometime soon? I'd love to be doing some live media with Wendy as well. It seems like Fridays might be a better day for that. So maybe having that day off for me on this channel and then coming back for that roundup on Saturday is great. Really appreciate that feedback, David. Thank you. Let me jump out of the way here. Take a look at current fiat leak, though. This is the US dollar pouring into Bitcoin, right? It looks like Bitcoin pouring into the United States, but really it's the US dollar. The other way around, the US dollar pouring into Bitcoin, and then people who've been spending in US dollars getting that Bitcoin. So going all over the place right now, though. Japanese yen, it's flying off the shelves. Thai baht, also Korean won. Clearly Asia is loving itself some. What? Polish zloty. It looks like we've got Poland in the mix. We have not seen Poland nearly as active. And then, of course, Russian ruble. Just known aficionados and fans of crypto in general. But Bitcoin is just flying off the shelves. Canadian dollar. Finally, where you been, man? Canadian dollar's been asleep every time we do this segment. But clearly the markets at this time right now. Oh, downward movement. Bummer. Anyway, again, I really do love this little representation of the markets. Take a look at Ethereum, though, and see which currencies are pouring into Ethereum at the moment. Also, we got Jimmy saying, do you have any recommendations on mining pools? Yeah, a few. There are a few. I'm currently just using Ethermine because it's simple and they pay out on the Polygon network. That's easier for me right now. But many people use eZilme and many people use Nanopool. Many people use Hivon Pool. They all come highly recommended. I personally have tried all those pools. Haven't had a problem with any of them at all. No weird like exit scams, no weird like devs taking my mining profits or anything. But then also used miningrogrentals.com. I'm very much against using NiceHash. Very much against using NiceHash. Only because it's very easy to aggregate hash rate and attack other networks. If right now, for example, I'll validate this too. If right now we were to isolate SHA-256, right here you can see there's a list of coins that use SHA-256 just like Bitcoin. But look at the network hash rate difference. Bitcoin Cash is almost it's about 1% of what Bitcoin, the Bitcoin hash rate is, right? It's a little bit more than 1%, but about 1%. So the current available hash rate for rent on NiceHash for SHA-256, very likely enough. And look at Bitcoin SV, it's even lower. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, Bitcoin SV got 51% attacked not long ago. Hash rate aggregators like NiceHash have been used in that way. I'm not talking about the leadership of NiceHash being like crooks or something, or former criminals. This is not me doing character assassination. I just think that the fundamental nature of there being such a big hash rate aggregator that it can cause damage in the real world and it can hurt smaller projects. So I don't recommend it. But mining rig rentals is, I think, a little bit better since the mining equipment operator is renting hash power directly to the purchaser. There's a link down in the description of this video. It is a referral link, but there's a link down in the description of this video where you can try it out. Whenever I want to mine something other than a coin that I'm focused on, I prefer to just rent directly to a buyer. I just think that's a more responsible way to do it. A bit like Airbnb, right? Like you wouldn't, if you were running an Airbnb out of your second home or out of your basement or something, you wouldn't call up like the Four Seasons and say like, hey, you know what, Four Seasons? I want you to just list on your website that my basement is going to be one of your rooms. Because if you did, you'd get overrun, right? Just not my idea of being very responsible with your resources. It could really backfire. Airbnb, on the other hand, as you can see, like you can vet people, say no to people, can shut things down if you're not comfortable with it. When you join yourself to too big of a network, kind of an issue. Anyway, rant over. But there's fiat leak. We see, and Ethereum has retraced. It's a bummer. It was at 3,300 not that long ago, all the way back down to 3,100. Oh my gosh, we're so spoiled, guys. Ethereum went over $3,000 this year. That's crazy. It went over 4,000, but it went over 3,000, and it was then very comfortably in the like 1,600 range for a while, and then it came back up over 3,000 again. We had so many opportunities to earn significant money with Ethereum. As GPU miners, we really don't have a lot to complain about, personally. So, guys, I apologize if you're trying to type for just in time comments. It's going to be really hard for them to come through. There's a little bit of lag on YouTube. So yeah, so Spence says twice, but it missed me during my monologue. I apologize, man. It was good, probably good timing, but I couldn't see it. Sorry, man. Also, good to see you here, Spenny. We need to talk about things. It's code, guys. It's code for things. But we got 3126 on Ethereum. It looks great, right? And especially when we see how Bitcoin is continuing to rise in value. We know we can wrap our Bitcoins on Ethereum, or we can go to exchange and we can get native Bitcoin and hold it ourselves. So many great options for us as miners. Take a look at what to mine, though. Start with the R9 380. If you're new to the channel, if you're new to the show, why do I show these old cards like the R9 380? Well, because they still exist. They're hard to find, and if you do find them, they're definitely secondhand. You can't get them brand new, but as we'll see here, they still mine at a profit. It's unbelievable. These are ancient cards, but they still mine at a profit today. We're using a cost basis of 14 cents per kilowatt hour, only because that's the average for the United States. It's a really painful rate to pay for your electricity, but a lot of people do, and some pay more. So this helps us give a really balanced view to what we're looking at for mining profits. We're also looking at a profitability and difficulty for revenue of 7 days. So We're looking at the averages here. We're not like, whatever, going all harebrained and seeing what's most profitable for 24 hours, or just 2 days or something. Nah, a week, right? You want to set it and forget it. If you're a working person, if you got a day job, you can't just run home and or go onto your online dashboard while you're at work and I'm going to change my coins again today because it just profitability flipped. Nah, man, chill out. Mine for a week. Stop and smell the roses. Relax, enjoy yourself, and let your mining rig do the work for a week. So we look at those averages, and then we look at a volume filter of 5 Bitcoin of daily trading volume. So we don't reckon that work by trying to sell to recoup profits and then pay our electricity down. If we need to, you might not need to. Maybe you can just hold on to all the profits or all of the proceeds and not liquidate anything. If that describes you, that's great. That's the best possible way to mine if you can. But there's a reality for many of us that we have to cover our bills so the lights stay on. So we want to be responsible as far as that goes and only mine coins that will absorb the daily sell-off of what we have to liquidate. So in my mind, a filter of about 5 Bitcoin minimum is a great way to ensure that happens. All right, let's calculate. It's enough of a preamble. And again, my metrics are telling me now that about 40% of the people watching this are not subscribed. Everybody else is. So guys, thank you so much for doing that. If you're not though, guys, it's free. Why not? Go ahead and sub. But taking a look at the profitability, 64 cents per day on this ancient card that you can only find secondhand that clearly nobody has, but 64 cents every single day, day in, day out. And if you don't have to sell immediately, $1.14. That's crazy. It's doing over $1 a day if you don't need to sell it. And if you can hold it and maybe either trade or do some other work with it, if you think speculatively it's going to go up in value, then maybe it's more than that when you hold on to this for a month or two. So really great. Ergo is in second place at 55 cents. And then Ravencoin, I mentioned I'm not a big fan of NiceHash, so I just neglect those results. But Ravencoin at 27 cents per day. So not nearly as much, but still not nothing. Pretty unreal that they're still earning money. The R9 Fury is a high bandwidth memory card, so it has HBM memory on it, but it's an older architecture, a lot like the R9 380. Again, we're going to use the same parameters, calculate, and see what turns up. Ravencoin at $1.38, and that's if you have to sell. That's your profit. If you don't have to sell, your revenue for the day, $2.38. A full $1 more, over $2 for an ancient card, another ancient card, and you're just doing phenomenally well. Ethereum Classic at 99 cents per day, more if you don't need to sell. And then Zano, a familiar face, love seeing that there in the comment or in the leaderboard at 88 cents every single day. Again, double that if you don't have to sell. Ergo as well at about 88 cents. Really, really phenomenal projects that you might have a strong belief in and feel like you don't want to sell. If that's the case, your daily mining proceeds are pretty good. They're looking pretty good. So, questions coming in from the live comments. Sanko says, am I alone in subtracting taxes on what to mine on top of electricity costs? Well, Sanko, you're going to need to talk to a tax professional about that. Reach out to a CPA or somebody who knows your state taxes and your federal taxes. So, yeah, I can't answer that on a live stream like this. I mentioned before that I don't give that kind of advice, but it's probably smart for you to factor in additional costs outside of just the cost for power. You really can't go wrong when on your table napkin math or your in-depth calculations if you factor in maybe the tax burden or your costs being higher than what everybody else is thinking about. But again, for more specifics, talk to a pro about that. I don't want to steer you the wrong way, but I think you're thinking in the right way. Golden Wolf asks, what's the most profitable for the RTX 3080 low hash rate edition? I don't have a great answer for you there. I apologize because I don't have any low hash rate edition custom numbers put into what to mine right now. So I apologize. We'll have to get some put in here at a future time. But right now we go through the most common models and we look for average numbers that really by the numbers average anticipation, right? Average expectations will come from, right? Average performance will come from. So without anybody in the audience who may have like some secret sauce, some really great aftermarket VBIOS or really great overclocking numbers or really great undervolting numbers or, whatever, their uncle runs NVIDIA or something. I don't know. Maybe you have some secret track, inside track that gives you a much better performance on your mining rigs and that your results wouldn't be typical, right? So we look at the averages here. So I apologize. I'll look for low hash rate devices soon. And I appreciate you asking. But looking at the R9 Fury, we got great numbers there. Let's look at a 4 gig Polaris card, the 570. And they're not all 4 gigs, but here on What to Mine, that's kind of how they characterize it. And let's move the ETH hash numbers to 30.5 mega hash. You can probably do better than that. We've definitely seen people do better than that, especially when they have their cards, when they have them in liquid immersion for cooling. But 30.5, not bad. Moving down the list, Ethereum Classic at $1.42 every day, Ravencoin at $1.29. And again, this is only if you're paying for your power every single day, if you're paying that down. Ergo at $1.23, and Beam on the list at just under $1. Pretty darn cool to see a privacy option there, though we had Zano before. But that's our 4 gig Polaris card. Look at an 8 gig Polaris card, the 580. And same numbers, we get Ethereum at the top of the list because it's got 8 gigs of memory. Of course, now we can see Ethereum, but $1.90 every single day, down from before. We were at about $2.05 or over $2 for a while. So mining profits clearly are coming down on that baseline model. This used to be the baseline model for What to Mine. I believe it still is. If you're just opening it up for the first time, it'll show you that GPU as the baseline model where everybody else kind of starts with some numbers and then tweaks from there. But kind of a bummer to see mining profits go down from there, but it's still in the number 1 spot. Ravencoin was much higher before, almost inflated, you might say, based on hyper focus on Ravencoin. The daily volume has gone down significantly with Ravencoin. It was in the 160s. It's now in the 130s. So it's dropped quite a bit. You guys have seen me on this channel, on this show, I don't want to be oppositionally defiant towards Ravencoin. It's a group of people, right? Like so many other coin projects and networks and things. It's a group of people trying to do their best work. And I get that. And they made Ravencoin do something kind of special as far as those custom assets that can be minted from the desktop wallet very easily. Right? It's a very easy way to mint custom assets. I haven't seen a whole lot of interest from developers, not in the way like we opened the show, not in the way that, say, Solana has brought in Solidity and Ethereum developers. That network is bringing developers over by the dozen. And I mean, some of the best talented people who I've personally had the pleasure of talking to and working with, who they inspire me with some of their ability. They're not going to Ravencoin to build on top of it right now. They're not. And that's unfortunate because of how much work has gone into Ravencoin. But I think the trading volume kind of helps tell that story as well. A lot of that trading volume is going to Solana because people are seeing the future possibilities of building on it. But it's still here on the list, right? It's still profitable, but not in the number 1 spot anymore. And I'm not shocked to see that sort of correct itself. But Ethereum top of the list, Ethereum Classic in 2nd place, Ravencoin in 3rd, Ergo kind of somewhere in between there actually, but in the stacked ranking lower because of sustained profitability. But that's our Polaris card. Vega 56, this would be our entry-level HBM2 card, so 2nd generation high bandwidth memory card with a brand new core called Vega. Really, I mean, if you know about these cards if you're in the scene, but if you're new to this scene, Vega really made a splash when it hit the market. It was pretty amazing. And no, not the kind of splash that happens when something falls into a toilet. It was just awesome. It was awesome. There are other cards that, they make that kind of splash, right? Sort that, like, when something hits the bowl, splashes back on you. Not the Vega series of cards. They are pretty much amazing. And part of the secret sauce is high bandwidth memory, the 2nd revision. So Vega 56, let's take a look at the profitability for that entry-level HBM2 card. And Ergo, I didn't expect to see that, but Ergo is topping the list at $3.82 in daily profit, over $4 if you're not selling. Ethereum at $3.18, almost $4 if you're not selling. Then Ravencoin in a distant third at $2.30, but just over $3 if you're not selling. Again, part of the reason that you see such low daily profits on Ravencoin, especially when we've got a 14 cent per kilowatt hour cost basis for power, is that it's a very, very heavy algorithm to do the hashing algorithm, Ka-Pow. It consumes a lot of electricity and generates a lot of heat because it consumes so much power. So it has to throw off that electricity as heat. So a little bit tougher for some miners to deal with. Then Ethereum Classic down to 236, if that's your cup of tea. Radeon 7 would represent the top of the line for Vega architecture cards. It's HBM2, and it is a Vega core with a very, very wide memory bus to assist in that memory throughput. So even more performance on the Radeon 7. use the same numbers, calculate for profit, and Ethereum is at $6.44 every day, over $7 if you're not selling, ergo at $5.95. And this is where it's kind of confusing to me. That something about that memory performance and core profile of the Radeon or the Vega 56 is so much better for Ergo and the Auto Lycos algorithm, but Ethereum is better on the Radeon 7. Go figure. Third place is Ethereum Classic at 486. Actually looking kind of attractive there. Not the best for this card, but pretty darn good. And then Ravencoin at 338. So not the most high performance, but still impressive. Let's take a look at the newer architecture cards. 5600 XT, which for the price and for the performance is apparently a highly favored card. The 6600 XT it seems to be disappointing everyone based on what I can tell so far. Gamers don't seem to like it very much for the price, and miners who've been trying to hash Ethereum and Ravencoin on it, they haven't been very impressed with its performance either for the 6600. So we'll see when What to Mine adds the 6600 XT, but so far all the reports that I'm seeing are negative for the 6600 XT. For the composite number here, though, let's take the 6800 XT. Remember that 60% of their resulting hash rate and profit will go to this card here. Just as a reminder, it's not an even split between those two generations of cards. The 6000 series card will be on top, though. And Ethereum at $7.12 per day, $8 even if you're not selling. Ravencoin at $5.95, and then Ethereum Classic. Hey, we got Nicholas in the chat saying, "Hey Seth, hey chat, good evening, good to see you, man. Thanks for tuning in." So Ethereum Classic at $5.34, and then Beam at $4.54. Ergo at $4.55. Not bad, but Ethereum clearly wins, right? Clearly ahead of everything else again in a post-EIP 1559 world. And even with all the hype surrounding all the other coins, when everybody said, oh no, Ethereum's going to go to proof of stake soon, Ethereum seems to be on top of most of these lists so far, at least for Team Red. All right, that's our Team Red roundup. Let's take a look at the value and efficiency cards on Team Green. So 1060, 1660, 2060, and then 3060 Ti. We do the 3060 Ti so that we know that roughly 50% of the hash rate and profit will go to the 3000 series card, because that's what we see with the 3090 versus the rest of the top of the line when we do that side of the Team Green lineup. So let's calculate at the same rate for power for the value and efficiency cards on Team Green. And we got, Ethereum, top of the list, with about half that going to the 3060 Ti, right? Over $4 a day in profit going to the 3060 Ti, almost $4.50 every single day. That's impressive. And if you're not selling, over $10 for all four of those cards. Ravencoin at $7.41, but a full $1.20, well, almost $1.20 lower in pure daily proceeds. Firo is on the list because MTPs apparently run a lot better, or Merkle tree proofs, that hashing algorithm runs a lot better on Team Green than on Team Red. So we got $7.13 there, within spitting distance of the Ravencoin profits, actually. Ergo at $6.99, not too far from Firo. So again, usual suspects with the addition of Firo for Team Green. Looks really good. All right, going to the top of the line, right? The King Daddies, 3090, 2080 Ti, 1660S, and then 1080 Ti. These tend to represent a better resale value as well. So before we hit those numbers, just be mindful of the fact that a lot of these cards, well, some of these cards don't resell as well, especially when mining profits are low. Some of them go for extremely low rates, but the top of the line NVIDIA cards, because they wind up being so good for gaming, tend to resell at a much higher rate. So you may want to factor that in. And especially if you're looking at new hardware, without giving any advice, I think you have to take a look at resale value before you try to get any new hardware in a market like this, where we may see the end of high profits in the coming months. Again, it's not a question of if, but when price is correct and mining profitability comes down with those prices. So it really does make sense to plan for a rainy day, like when that happens. All right, Sanko says, I got a 1080 at 34.5 mega hash per second. That's great. It's doing great. All right, taking a look at the numbers for the top of the line on Team Green. And it's Ethereum. $15.63. Ravencoin way lower at $12.73. And I think if we see a major price correction within Ravencoin as well, then unfortunately, any of the profits that we had from last week that maybe we were hodling, hoping to hold on to, well, they will have gone down as well. And the portfolio will tell us, I think we're probably fine, but profitability is definitely down. Ravencoin at $12.73 if you're selling. If you're not, then it's not too big a difference between Ethereum and Ravencoin. Ethereum Classic at $12.23, Firo at $12 even, and Ergo at $11.56. Not bad for all of them, but clearly Ethereum again is winning. So if you don't so much feel strongly about supporting the network for one of these other coins, then you also have the option of just mining to whatever the highest profit is and then buying the coin that you want. A lot of miners do that on their own with Bitcoin, for example, right? Kev Machine is in the troll box. He's telling me chia. Nice. And we will take a look at Chia in our mining portfolio. I made a commitment not to make clickbait anymore using Chia. I don't want to be a mean-spirited guy, right? I have some negative opinions about the whole project, so I don't want to try to draw Chia people over and try to promise them some kind of like secret sauce or some secret way of making more profit when really all I plan to do is like kick them in the nuts, with love. But that's our mining profitability on GPUs. Let's take a look at cost to mine one full Bitcoin. We're going to start with the Bitmain Antminer S9. Why? It's the most common thing. If you look for used S9s, you'll find them by the hundreds. Now, whether or not the current owner is willing to sell them to you, your mileage may vary. We'll see. But right now, the Antminer S9 is the most common Bitcoin mining hardware profile out there. But let's keep it at its bog stock hash rate of 13.5 terahash per second, bring it all the way up to 14 cents per kilowatt hour, the average and the standard that we're using for GPUs, right? Clearly, our break-even point is 17.7 cents per kilowatt hour, but at 14, we're mining one full Bitcoin at 36.4. Not really that great a deal. Like if you were offered to be allowed to buy one full Bitcoin right now at 36.4, you'd probably do it. I would too. Based on the current price of about $45,000, it's a steal, right? So it still winds up being a better acquisition price than the current market rate for Bitcoin natively. Plus, if you're mining, you get it in a non-KYC manner, right? You get it directly from the pool or directly from the Coinbase transaction from the Bitcoin network. So it winds up helping you to preserve your anonymity better by mining. So it also, makes sense to be friends with a Bitcoin miner if you're a GPU miner as well, so you can buy your Bitcoin OTC in exchange for other coins if they're willing to do that. But that's a long diatribe. At 14 cents per kilowatt hour, it's over $36,000. At 8 cents per kilowatt hour, which anybody here, I promise you, can get if you're in the United States, $20,800 US. Currently, with the current support level of Bitcoin, this looks phenomenal. We can't imagine Bitcoin going as low as this, but there is a future in which that could happen. So this is for me, this is kind of the waterline. Like, I don't feel comfortable mining Bitcoin at a much higher rate than this. I know it sounds crazy, but this is the waterline for me. Goes any higher and I'm like, oh nope, I'm drowning. Too much. So I would say this is the right rate to the right target rate to mine your Bitcoin at. Jim Van in the comment section says, when you mine with two RTX 3070s, you have 20 megahash more for the same power as a 3080 and are cheaper to buy. No overheating in the memory also. Yeah, these are some great hacks. The 3070, really all of the XX70 line, from the 1070 and 1070 Ti forward, they've always been kind of a good in between from the value and efficiency cards of the 1060 forward. Or the 960 before it, right? There were plenty of people who were mining Ethereum on the 960 for as long as they could. Pretty impressive cards for sure. But that in between also winds up coming at a bit of a price premium to the 3060. So something we talk about on other videos, and I may do another mega video on this where we just post-produce this and make it really compact and edit it and everything, is a spreadsheet where we talk about hash per dollar per watt. And it's a ratio between the three. But sometimes the 3060 makes more sense at scale because while you can't buy 2 1/4 3060s for that same price that you were talking about, getting the 23070s, the price would come out to about 2.25 or 2.5 3060s. So if you were buying, say, 20 of them instead, you'd be able to get 1 or 2 extra units into that margin there, and you'd scale up better on your hash per dollar per watt. So you have higher efficiency even than the 3070 in some cases, depending on whether or not it can be optimized for that algorithm. Anyway, guys, that's really, really nerdy, but you see where I'm saying. There's so many ways you can optimize on paper before you ever spend a cent, ever spend $1. And it does make sense to do a bit of your homework on that and have a very solid plan so you know why you're going a certain direction and what you're going to do if the market changes or if you have to fall back in some way. So, I mean, whatever, I'm not your dad. You do your own calculations, but maybe we'll do a video like that in the near future. So 8 cents per kilowatt hour is great for this. Let's just go all the way down to 5 cents. This is about the lowest you'll find, but you'll be locked into a co-location contract with somebody who will very likely ask you to buy the equipment from them and then still not send it to you when you're done. So buyer beware. 5 cents per kilowatt hour power always sounds good until you try to find it and there are strings attached. But you'd be getting one full Bitcoin at $13,000 on Antminer S9. Let's change with that same power rate, go over to the MicroBT WhatsMiner M20S, a much more efficient card. And now, or ASIC, and now we're almost half that, right? 7.4, far more attractive. Bringing that power rate up to 8 cents per kilowatt hour, and we are now still below $12,000 acquisition price for one full Bitcoin. Bring it all the way up to the residential average of 14 cents per kilowatt hour, and now we're still at about $20,000, almost $21,000. And again, that's where that water line is for me, like I mentioned before. So with this newer hardware profile of ASIC, we could actually mine at home, and in my mind, still get a really decent cost for acquiring one full Bitcoin, or acquiring any amount of Bitcoin that we're going to acquire with, just one ASIC. You can scale up too, depending on whether or not you have those means, obviously. But yeah. This is why the efficiency matters so much with mining. All right, that's our cost to mine one full Bitcoin. We took a look at this before when we talked about the dangers of nice hash and such. Let's quickly take a look at the ETH hash algorithm. And, let's see if maybe... Nope. It won't let me put in Dagger Hashimoto. ETC hash. So weird. Okay, so we see 23.5 terahash roughly. Go to Ethereum. So yeah, it's not even 1/10 of what Ethereum is right now. It's about 5% of what Ethereum is right now in terms of total hash rate. But Zilliqa also is riding the coattails of Ethereum being merge mined. Callisto Network and MOAC. MOAC is doing, no, it's not doing that impressively. It's actually going down. The hash rate is going down on coins like MOAC, but there are a lot of these coins that are just so young and vulnerable. If they don't have 51% attack protection built in, then they're just one nice hash bomb, hash rate nuke away from not existing anymore, unfortunately. So, stay safe out there, guys. Stay safe. But those are our pools. I'm going to leave it at that for right now. Somebody asked before, what's the best pool for Ethereum? I'm going to just briefly pop into this, and we'll just take a look at a stacked ranking here. The top is Ethermine. It has the highest percentage of hash rate at 22.1, still very far away from having 51% of the hash rate. So that's kind of nice that it's not that close. Is it decentralized? No, it doesn't decentralize the hash rate very much by mining to these top, 5-6 pools. But the experience is consistent. It's really not about you're going to get payouts faster. That's not true. You're going to get payouts based on when you agree to get payouts. And if you were to mine solo, you get payouts once you get lucky enough to hit a block. So it's a different paradigm. That's all. But Ethermine is top of the list. A lot of miners in the States are uncomfortable mining the Spark pool. See the little flag to the left there? It's clearly based in China. And, so there can be some questions of ethics or nationalist pride or whatever. You do you, right? You come up with your own decisions. There are a lot of other miners who wouldn't mind a Spark pool. I think I have in the past, and I just don't anymore. But Ethermine right now, F2 pool as well, also primarily in China. They say they've got an EU, an EU Stratum server as well, but it's probably mostly China. So that's just for optics that they have There's 2 countries there. Nanopool, primarily in the EU, also a US, but it started the other way around, right? So, and then HiveOn, very popular, comes from the makers of HiveOS. If you haven't seen the full playlist of how to mine on HiveOS, this channel, we broke the first official content, worked directly with the makers of HiveOS, and we actually had all of our script and all of our materials partially written and approved by the HiveOS team. So take a look at that playlist. It's in the playlist area of this channel, and you can check out, well, in the description of this video. If you haven't used HiveOS, give it a try. But it's free for you, totally free, and a way for you to support the channel. But then Bpool, Spiderpool, also Chinese pools. But I use Ethermine. Hope that helped answer that question from before. Let's take a look at our portfolios, guys. And we are making really good time to have the live show tonight, kind of wrapped in about less time than usual. Normally we kind of hang out a little longer, but let's go ahead and look through our portfolios, and let's add Solana and some proof of stake projects, maybe like Polkadot, to a new portfolio for smart contract platforms that are proof of stake. I think when it goes live and we can actually put it there, I'm going to be putting Pulse Chain there as well. Just heads up, I have to. We've already got Binance Smart Chain, and we've got Polygon Network, right, Matic, that are proof of stake as well. And they probably belong in their own separate category, I think. Been putting them in GPU mining, mineable coins for a while, and I don't think it's the perfect spot for them. So maybe we'll do a transfer in the near future. But right now, looking at our portfolios, we'll start with GPU mineable coins. And with the GPU mineable coins, we see Ravencoin is still the top. It's at the top. It was at plus 90% or over 90% from when we initially put it in on May 26th of this year. But our total 24-hour portfolio change is down significantly by over 5%, and still in the aggregate, the total P&L is 1.5% down. Ravencoin is at the top, but Rio currency came up to beat out Ethereum as well. That's pretty cool. We got to take a closer look at that. We can clearly see in that chart right here, though, that it's got a bit of an ascending channel right here. See that? We got resistance. Resistance at the top right here, kind of following a good solid line. Support at the bottom, also following almost the same line. It's clearly a channel that's upward. Where it stops, nobody knows. It kind of looks like it's already sort of tapering off now, but we don't know for sure. That still looks like the support that it was on before, which is still an upward trend. Ethereum doing what Ethereum does, kind of staying correlated to Bitcoin. We can see that in RenBTC and in Wrapped Bitcoin here. See that? Ethereum, Bitcoin. Don't those charts look almost the same? They're pretty darn close, aren't they? See that valley right there, a double bottom, right? Bounce, up. And there's Ethereum, bounce, up. And, without doing any kind of like technical analysis or calling any other formations here, it is obvious that there's a correlation between Ethereum and Bitcoin very strongly. But with Rio currency, no correlation at all. We're not seeing any of the same formations happening on the trend line of Rio currency. Something else is happening. So, and that I wish I would have known about it earlier, because it's clearly up significantly from before, right? And it's well over the $1,000 mark from the initial paper $1,000 that we put in this portfolio on May 26th. Matic, Aave, interest-bearing wrapped Ethereum, following that same correlated trend line. Ergo, very different, right? Still experienced that double bottom there, right? And it's a very steep double bottom for Ergo, or looks very steep for Ergo, but still kind of correlated a little bit, at least at that double bottom. So clearly that spooked a lot of the market, but it's over the $1,000 mark as well. Same with Ethereum Classic. The first one that's below our $1,000 mark is Polygon Matic, but it's closer to the $1,000 mark than it's been in a while. So that's good. Really good news, right, for anybody who's holding their Matic. And at $1.40, that's just phenomenal. A lot of us have seen Matic go, or Polygon go, from much, much lower prices all the way up to this point. Biggest loser in this portfolio is still Haven, and that's kind of a bummer. I still firmly believe it's undervalued, but it appears to have suffered a more steep dip today than maybe anything else. Then again, we could still be in the middle of a movement where we're watching everything dip right now. So it could just be that is a strong correlation. Unfortunately, that's the case for a lot of projects that are currently in the midst of some price breakdowns, right? Breaking out to the downside is that when other larger projects like Bitcoin break out to the downside, they drag some of these smaller projects with them that don't have the same hodler loyalty to help get them through the other side and recover. Unfortunately, that can happen to projects like this. I still think that Haven's probably a bit undervalued. It's now under $5, but that's ground that was hard won getting to that point. I don't see them giving up without a fight. They're still down 61%. And really, that's probably what's holding this portfolio down so far. But that's the GPU mining portfolio. Let's take a look at hard drive mineable coins. And MadeSafe coin is still at the top of the list and still well over the $1,000 mark, but that project in particular has been suffering. Clearly, it's been on a downward trend, and this most recent pump or a rally with Bitcoin, it experienced some upward price action, but it's correcting just as hard as all the other projects, if not harder. See that little line right there underneath? That's the support line, and here is MadeSafe coin dipping below it. So it's actually going below what it was before that most recent run up. A lot of other projects, while they may be matching the price that they hit during the most recent run-up or on the support line just before the most recent run-up, they're not dipping to below what they were just a few days ago. MadeSafe coin it's the lowest it's been all week, right? So 15% down in the last 7 days. But you see with that price chart, it's a much more dramatic look on that little formation there when it dips way down. Bottom of the list, still Chia. What's the percentage? Still well over 60%, almost over 70% again. We're almost to 70% again. And it's largely crawling sideways with Chia, with a few random breakouts that are big spikes, but they look correlated to other coins as well. Filecoin, Siacoin, Signum. I think that these are all very strongly correlated to Bitcoin as well. But Chia coin is not breaking out, and it's struggling to get back to that $300 mark. However, it hasn't gone back below the $200 mark yet. So that's good news for Chia holders that may be stuck with some bags right now. So if they are earning daily profit over their loss, over their cost for electricity, maybe some Chia miners are going to make it, right, with their hard drives. But that's our hard drive mineable portfolio. Again, 24 hours, down 5%. Over since we started the portfolio, down 4.8%. Going to our CPU mineable coins, we've got at the top of the list Monero. There you go. Interesting. Monero has broken out to the top spot now, but that's not saying much. That it's only over $1,000, which is what we put in May 26th. John Oliver in Last Week Tonight did a fairly targeted hit piece on Monero. That's really all I can call it. And after reaching out directly to the Outreach Monero team, or the Monero, gosh, what is it? Some of the handlers of the official Monero web properties, they went out of their way to answer questions for the production team of John Oliver's show Last Week Tonight, and he still came out swinging, throwing haymakers, really trying to cause damage to privacy coins like Monero by associating them with ransomware and cryptojacking. It's unfortunate that that's the direction that John Oliver has gone with Last Week Tonight, but he has chosen violence. It's unfortunate. It wouldn't be the first time, right? He likes to stir up controversy by characterizing everything he talks about in some negative way, but it's unfortunate. That could be why, though, we're seeing Monero moving the way it's moving. Raptorium in second place, staying pretty strong, but not over the $1,000 mark, and Veriscoin still in dead last, but not below 50% in losses. Still not great for Veriscoin. It's quite low compared to where it was when we first put it in. All right, going on to ASIC mineable coins. In our ASIC mineable portfolio, Decred is still on the top of the list at $1,236. 24-hour change for the whole portfolio is negative 4.5%, and the total P&L is still negative 4.28%. So it's still down. We haven't recovered yet. Even though the ASIC mineable portfolio looks pretty good, we're not out of the woods yet. For over the $1,000 mark, we got Decred, Bitcoin, and Pirate Chain still. Pirate Chain going strong. Zcash is still catching up, though, and Zcash is getting pretty close to that $1,000 mark now at $981. Dash at $949, but still dead last. We've got Horizon. It's no longer Bytecoin. It's no longer Dogecoin. It's Horizon. Still kind of confusing to me, but we do see a lot of volatility in these markets. So if you know how to trade them, pay attention. Maybe you can make some money in these heavy swings with coins like Horizon and others, right? That that valley down there, that double bottom, clearly Horizon didn't escape it. And I don't think that Zcash did either. It was just less pronounced, but they are in an upward channel for a lot of these other ASIC mineable coins. And they do seem a lot more strongly correlated to each other. So mentioned that last time around, but you know, take that for what it's worth. A lot more stability in some of these coins. Going from ASICs to FPGAs. And in our FPGA mining portfolio, we're down 1.28 or 26% for the last 24 hours, but our total P&L is pretty bad. It's negative 23.84%. Our FPGA mineable coins are just really suffering in the middle of this bull run. We do have a winner though in Cadena in terms of being a breakout above the $1,000 mark, which is how much we put in on May 26th. And Handshake is still down pretty bad at negative 37%. It's really everywhere in between that's keeping us held down so low. The next coin is down 15%, and then the second to last is negative 33%. So we got a pretty strong bias towards being underwater in this side of the portfolio with the FPGA mineable coins. 0x Bitcoin still doing what 0x Bitcoin does with, I mean, it looks like it's like a Geiger counter or like whatever, like a Richter scale or like some kind of a seismograph, something that's just consistently moving within a certain range, and it looks nuts. Let's open that up again, see what we can see. Love taking a look at that portfolio. But we're almost we're at the end of everything that we have put into portfolios. Let's take a look at 0x Bitcoin and Rio currency because they were kind of standouts. 0x Bitcoin is currently at 65 cents or 65.8 cents. And market cap is still pretty low. Daily volume, though, is over $500,000. So for one individual who may be doing this, then maybe you've got a valid way forward. We see these heavy swings. They look, as far as like algorithmic trading, where you just clearly define bot parameters to be able to put in a limit order for you. This might be doable, maybe, because we see at the peak 72 cents, and then at the valley 67 cents. So not as heavy a swing as we've seen before, but it seems to be a pretty consistent pattern. A little less of an opportunity than we saw before, though. Last week when we first paid attention to that. So not quite as intense an opportunity. Take a look at the 7-day, though, in this chart. And you just see that, right? It just looks like a scroll, up and down, like a heart rate monitor at a hospital, or a pulse, right, in a human being. It's just kind of consistent. It's like the lifeblood of this project is back and forth. Taking a look at the exchanges where it's most heavily traded, we've got SushiSwap and Uniswap. Resfinex is there as well. Clearly, it's got relatively high volume. Mercatox has the highest volume. I don't know how much I trust that. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. SushiSwap, clearly it's being traded pretty heavily with Wrapped Matic now. So clearly whoever we talked to, whoever's heart we reached on this program earlier before, saw this opportunity and said, well, if I can get it wrapped, if I can trade it wrapped against Matic, then maybe I can do better on the arbitrage than against other pairs. So kudos to whoever's doing that. That's awesome. All right. That is our FPGA mining portfolio, or that's the 0x Bitcoin side. And you can see again, the opportunity is probably still there. Hopefully somebody here is benefiting from that. Rio currency is at 7 cents even right now, roughly. In the day, 24-hour trading volume is only $16,000, almost $17,000. But let's take a look to see what happened in the last little while. 7-day chart is what we were looking at before. Clearly, we've got really heavy periods of trading volume right here. So peaks of 38,000 and valleys of, what's that, almost just under 5,000. And again, peak of 20,000, then under 4,000, 20,000, under 7,000, 14,000, and we haven't quite gone into a really low valley of trading volume yet, but there appears to be a lot of activity over the last 7 days for Rio currency. Let's jump back in time a little bit and take a look at this, the 14-day. Yeah, big upward channel right there with massive, see these giant mounds coming out down below in the trading volume? We've got quite a bit of activity there. Highest 24-hour volumes on TradeOgre. So that would stand to reason. TradeOgre does have not only this crypto note currency, but several others that are hard to find in other places. Golden Wolf is throwing me the Stay Savage sign. Thanks for hanging out with us, man. Appreciate you. But TradeOgre is where we see a lot of our crypto notes. Conceal project, one that was actually very dear to Savage's, clearly to Savage's content, platform, and advocacy. He would talk about Conceal often. Also available on TradeOgre, one of the places where you can do it. There's no direct way to support Savage's family by using TradeOgre. Unfortunately, there are no referral programs or anything, but you can take a look at his videos over on Savage Mind, and you'll see a lot about Conceal. And I think that if you're interested in that project, very similar to Ryo, you're going to see that there's most trading volume over on TradeOgre versus other places. So, guys, stay savage. Please remember to continue to watch his content for his family. Put it on autoplay, playlists. Keep on watching it. Do it. It's the right thing to do. And let's see. Yeah, that's Ryo currency. Not really sure what the main event was that kicked off all of this trading, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different mounds. And if we want to call that 5, 6, 7, then who knows? Maybe that is what it took for us to find a new trading volume floor. Maybe we are going to see this as the new trading volume floor moving forward. But, I'm not convinced that that's necessarily the case. I think there's just a lot of interest in it. And maybe there's been some news on the Ryo currency front that I'm just not paying close attention to. It would make sense to pay closer attention to it, though, at this point. Let's take a look at the Ryo currency at this point. The website, let's see what we got. Do we have Nah, man, we do not have a good blog for it, because what I'd love to do is find some current news, but all we can do is go to, there we go, Ryo currency Fermi Paradox, 2 updates on the main page. Just go to dark theme so I don't blow your eyeballs out. You're welcome. But going down the list, we don't have a whole lot else. We got the why and the what about. Social links. All right. Medium. Okay. And oof, they got kicked off Medium. Shocker. Yeah, Medium's never done that. Not to any crypto projects. But I don't think we've got any other really good authoritative news source at this point. Maybe the Reddit might be a good place to go. We could go to the Telegram probably as well. But I don't want to be overloaded with Telegram news. On our Ryo currency, or our Ryo currency, got just under 1,000 members, and looks like I'm already a member here. Already joined? Nope, haven't joined yet. There we go. Joined. No very recent news. Is Ryo dead? What? Okay. And then a month ago, Ryo is up 75% in 6 months. Is coin still being developed? Are there any updates from devs? All right, let's take a close look. Why not? Somebody else already said it. You can come check the Telegram instead of relying on Monero shills who are a little upset that Fluffy Pony has been jailed. Dang! Yikes! Tell us how you really feel. Okay, it sounds like Telegram might be the only way to go. All right. So I'm going to open this up here. Here's the Ryo currency Telegram. And it looks like we've still got under 1,000 members here. I'm going to just go ahead and officially join the group. Oh, man. And I've got to do a capture. This is good, guys. This is how to run a Telegram group 101. They're doing it right. Okay, so I'm verified. That's good. Deadwood says, great times and great information. Thank you. Hey, really appreciate that. Thank you, guys. And remember to, again, I made it, I said it casually before. Remember to, support the community. It's a big deal. When we get back into a bear market, all we're going to have is each other, right? That's it. We won't have mining profits then, for sure. So we're taking a look back here, not seeing a whole lot of news. Zcash lacks privacy by default. Yep, totally does. Need to learn to mine. Oh, guys, arrogantly, hope it was correct, etc., etc. To infinity, typical puppamentals, people trying to get too hyped. Overly hyped Zcash. Why are we looking at Zcash here? No major announcements from, it's only in the last day though. No major announcements. Is this, come on. Oh, that's somebody else. I was hoping that'd be from Savage Mind. It was not. Time to pump. Hey, it's Yoda crying. That's pretty awesome. I need it. Yeah. That is one thing I like about Telegram. Steal everybody's stickers. All the stickers are mine now. Oh, that's funny. And it's Ryu mining Rio. That's something. All right. Not seeing. There we go. We got the GitHub. So we'll jump back over there. Maybe that helps us kind of see some commits. I don't see anything even happening in the last. What the heck? What am I missing here? 2 months ago. Build errors. Ooh. Yikes. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, go to insights here. No active pull requests. 0 active issues. It looks like it's kind of, it's running on pretty smooth rails right now. Guys, a lack of pull requests and a lack of GitHub commits isn't always cause for concern. Sometimes it just means that the project has achieved a snapshot where it runs really well and it doesn't need to be updated all that much. However, I'm still a little bit suspect at like the last 7 days, but then not seeing any kind of, significant news that would move anything. Like, why? TCV pick. Let's see. Who the heck is TCV, guys? Pardon my ignorance. Who's TCV? Who were they talking about? I do not see. I am realizing this is probably a very, very dangerous place to be browsing live on YouTube. All right. No more Telegram for you. I'm just not seeing much here that justifies recent activity in real currency. This looks like manipulation, doesn't it? Really, really heavy, almost artificial looking trade volume, and having it be on a non-KYC exchange. And yeah, guys, I don't like picking on people because Fire Ice is a great developer and has offered a lot of goodwill to the community. So I doubt it would be Fire Ice that's doing anything that could potentially endanger the Rio Currency project. But outside of the lead developer, Fire Ice, at Rio Currency, it could be somebody else, right? Who's a whale and has a lot of whatever and thinks they're doing everybody else a favor. But this looks a bit like manipulation, doesn't it? Kind of walks like a duck. Guys, tell me in the comments section. We got Nem. Nem is live. He says, yes, this is how the S coins operate. You got to escape, Seth. Stop. You're becoming one of them. Yeah, I appreciate you trying to intervene, man. But you're not wrong. Yeah, a lot of projects. Here's the thing. A lot of projects from back in the day when none of the exchanges were KYC, they did the same thing. All of the forks of Bitcoin and the forks of other coins. Yeah, they just wanted to be taken seriously, so they needed to show trading volume. Oof, but bummer. Yeah, Crex24, I don't touch it these days. It's pretty much just Trade Ogre. So one exchange, loads of volume at strange intervals, seemingly only. Is that in the middle of the night for yours truly? Yeah. Let's see. Nope. One full day. That looks like an algorithm though, right? See that? Midnight to midnight. Bumped it up, and then right at midnight, brought it down. Oh, guys, this is like, they're not even being clever about it. They're just letting it run for one calendar day. What the heck? Seriously? Okay. Yeah, nothing more to see here. Sorry to waste your guys' time. FPGA's portfolio, though, looking pretty good. Yeah, looking pretty good for Cadena. So Cadena owners and miners, rejoice. It's paid off. Your long-term hodling has resulted in you just breaking even now since May 26th. All right, let's take a look at a couple of other data points for the night. And we'll call it a night tonight after we take a look at our chart. But here's our chart. Zooming way out, because we gotta zoom way out. Bitcoin, as we know, was operating in a couple of different channels before, between $30,000 to $40,000 range, breaking out, and largely operating in the $50,000 to $60,000 range before coming back down. Yes, it tried to struggle to stay up, but a massive sell wall hit, and it dumped down into the 30 to 40K range, stayed there for a while, and now, more recently, has been breaking out. The 200-day moving average is all the way up to about $43,000. Guys, that is exciting. That's the most exciting news I've seen in Bitcoin in a long time. To see the 200-day moving average in the mid $40,000. That makes me hopeful that we're not going to see it retrace, and dump very, very precipitously, I think. 22S Burke says KD5 coming any day now. I'm relieved a little. Yeah, so a Cadena miner for 22S Burke is expecting something like that. Next Era Gamer says, what's good, people? What's up, Seth? Hey, doing well. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you spending some time with us tonight. But taking a look again at our chart, guys, again, you know the drill. This is not legal financial or business advice, and I am definitely not any kind of trading guru or charting guru. I just like taking a look at this and trying to figure out roughly where we can put some of our lines here. It looks like our lower support line here, we can pretty much keep that going steady, and that's looking pretty good. Looks like our resistance line here, let's go ahead and draw it through there, and maybe we can start to see something of an ascending triangle at this point that we can just put our chopsticks on, right? That's the only reason we're doing that, is just to have chopsticks somewhere on the chart so we can see something play out over time, not because it's necessarily going to play out well. Again, taking a look at our MACD is we see these waves getting smaller and smaller, and we see some of the volume not really staying consistently high. There are waves here as well, right? So without getting too in depth or making some kind of comment there that's going to be turned into a meme and used to kick me out of public office 20 years from now or get me canceled when I finally make it big in Hollywood, it's never gonna. I mean, it could happen, right? It could happen. Don't be a dream thief. Don't. My heart. Don't tell me it can't happen. All right. So if I write the wrong thing here, though, right, then all that goes out the window because somebody just decides that my tweets are wrong, right? So anyway, but let's draw that support line way out into the future, and we're going to go kind of crazy with these chopsticks. And let's get our resistance line a little bit more aggressive, right? We'll zoom in too to make sure that we're not engaged in crazy talk here. Maybe we are engaged in crazy talk. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to get in real close to make sure that we're actually. Yeah, let's hit the very bottom line there, and that already kind of puts us almost where we need to be. Let's go bottom of these candles to bottom of that candle, roughly. And then let's redraw this to get a little more realistic by touching those candle tops. And it's going to look a little less like an ascending triangle and a little more like that resistance line coming down. Looks more like a reversal now, a little bit. Oh, that top right there, that is looking a little bit like a reversal, isn't it? Again, not advice, but you guys tell me in the comment section. What are you seeing there? Am I reading these tea leaves right? I don't know. Not that I'm forecasting any kind of doom and gloom for Bitcoin or hold on to your butts, we're going to 20K like tomorrow. No weird predictions here, guys. That's not what we do around here. But this looks a lot more level, doesn't it? And this is why I like using our chopsticks. I like being able to get to a point where I feel a little more confident putting chopsticks on the board instead of just an ascending triangle or a descending triangle or whatever else. I think maybe it is called for here, where if we do see our support continue to move up, then it may follow this trend. If not, more than likely, it looks more like resistance is going to stay here until something really big happens. What could be happening right now, guys, in the news cycle that would help us break what I think I see with a bit of a reversal right now? What do you think? Is there any kind of positive news with Bitcoin that would help it just kind of break back out? I don't know. Tell me in the comment section. And also, let's jump back into our portfolio, let that percolate there for a second, and jump into the brand new side of the portfolio, proof of stake smart contracts. This is brand new. We haven't put anything in here. And what I'd like to do in honor of Solana kicking butt today is throw in some Solana. Why wouldn't we? There you go. See, 7-day, it's up 66%. Last 24 hours, it's up over 10%. It's been doing really well. Look at that chart as well. That looks pretty parabolic. Now, it might not continue that direction, so this might be the worst possible time to get in. Well, if that's the case, let's take a look at how it's done historically. And this is just on CoinGecko. This is not a dedicated chart or whatever. So looking back 180 days. Oh, Well, when you zoom a little farther out, half a year, it becomes apparent that no, we've covered this ground before, but not since Bitcoin was really high. Right? I think there was stronger correlation to Bitcoin back over here. This looks a lot like that Bart Simpson that Bitcoin did way back almost in the 60Ks, right? Isn't that what it looks like? Yeah, I think the time frame matches too. At 6 months, that's about right. But then it started to crawl sideways, and more recently, boom, look at that trading volume. Just going insane. Prior to that, $500 million in trading volume. That's nothing to sneeze at. But going to this, $3.5 and $4 billion of daily trading volume. That's crazy. That's crazy. From a $500 million up to that. That's what is that? That's 7 times as much trading volume. 6 times as much. Just like slapped on to the top of what it was currently doing already. That's a lot of trading volume. So yeah, Solana is just doing phenomenal there. Jim Van, buy the top, buy it live, Seth. Okay, go buy some Solana. Show us how you can get wrecked. Ugh. I had my developer friends that were trying to warn me. They're like, Seth, you got to get more Solana. You got to do it. It's gonna go insane. You don't understand, Seth. You don't know. I'm like, you know what? I really don't know. Try to explain it to me. They're like, nah, you're an idiot. So here we are, regretting the fact that we didn't buy months ago. Though it looks like even the best, maybe I think our lowest possible dip before the run up was then about a month ago almost. So 20th of July, I think is the best we could have possibly done. But based on that price, $23.86 till now. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that would have made us very happy campers. Almost triple. Yeah, almost triple compared to in the same time frame. Bitcoin, not going negative or anything, but not tripling, man. Now, if Bitcoin had tripled from that time, we'd be so near to $100,000 Bitcoin that we would just run up to $100,000, right? That's what would have happened. If we had seen that same curve that we see right here happening to Bitcoin, everyone would have been losing their minds, right? The mainstream media, everybody on Wall Street, maybe even Peter Schiff would have stopped, talking trash about Bitcoin. Probably not, though. That's the thing. That's how he makes his money. Talking trash about Bitcoin. But the point is, everybody would have been on board, and getting so close to the $90,000 mark on Bitcoin, we would have broken through the psychological barrier, I think. And we would have just raced straight up to 100K, maybe met resistance and then popped through it afterwards. But this is nuts. Clearly, people who are on board here are very happy. Let's take a look again at this same thing versus Bitcoin. Yeah, no, it's just gained against Bitcoin. It's gained against Ethereum. Not quite as much, though. Ethereum was a little more steady there. If you've been hodling Ethereum for a while, you might have been feeling perfectly fine instead of aping into Solana. So I don't know, maybe for us as miners, maybe it wasn't the best move to just look at Solana and think, okay, we got to get some. And maybe even being late right now, maybe it's still not a terrible time for us to wait for a small correction and get a position in Solana as GPU miners. What do you guys think? I'm not giving anybody advice, but what do you think about Solana in general? Have you looked more closely at it? I sent you that white paper. I'm not going to go over it in tonight's video or go too in depth on a breakdown of what Solana is, but I don't know. Can you see yourself parting with some mining profits to get into some Solana? Let me know in the comments section. I'm really curious. And I knew it'd be irresponsible of me not to bring it up and talk to you guys about Solana tonight. But let me know in the comments section about that. In the meantime, we're going to add this. Got the Solana there. And I'll add our amounts after the show. We're going to add some Polkadot. Boop. And then what else should we add to our proof of stake smart contract portfolio? There we go. He says as he's actively adding Polygon. What else should I add, though, in this area? Clearly, there's more to it than just these three. So let me know. Should I add Ethereum here? So we kind of track it right next to the other proof of stake networks, and we have this history going into proof of stake in the future. I think I'm interested in that. But let's see. Some goblin loser is asking, not meaning to make a fuss, but did you look into the links I shared? I don't know that I saw the links. I apologize for that. I've got really, really aggressive content moderation rules. So if they weren't posted in the comment section, then you'd have to either email me or you'd have to tag me on Twitter to get my attention fast. We also have, yes, there's a Discord. I don't use that often because it doesn't run on any kind of secure Linux devices or secure Android devices that you can run the like de-Googled Android with, so AOSP. So, oh, Next Era Gamer saying, will we pretend that Ada's smart contracts are already live for this group? Bro, saving lives here. Yeah, let's throw Ada in there as well. Why not? Why not? We'll let it compete on price here, and then we'll try to track the news to let it compete on merit whenever that's appropriate. Because here it is at $2. Here's Solana, a project that launched way after at 64, Polkadot at 24, Polygon at almost the same price, just because it's active right now and it runs smart contracts today. Yeah, it's amazing what happens when you actually deliver a product that people are actively using, right? Crazy talk. Cardano's still at 66 million though in its current market cap. Not really sure what the liquidity is across these projects though, but I'll add a bit more so that by the next time we are live, all of these have their first initial $1,000. Let me throw Ethereum in here as well, guys. I asked about it before. I feel pretty strong that we should just go ahead and do it. Ooh, somebody says EOS. Good call. EOS. Let's go Tron too. You know, while we're going ridiculous, right? Let's go off the deep end. Tron. Ooh, oh, Tron down to $6 million. What am I talking about? $6 billion. And what was I talking about with Cardano? It's $66 billion. And all the rest are in the billions. Good grief. I just missed a few zeros. It wasn't a big problem, guys. Don't worry about it. But yeah, there we go. But EOS, hey, finally over the $4 billion they raised in cash when they first launched. Good for them. They're maybe out of the doghouse now. No, good call though. Let's go ahead and throw Wax in there too. Really important network. So Wax P, very important network for NFTs, and it's basically a fork of EOS. But it's it's no slouch. Almost $300 million. They had some pretty big launches, pretty big NFT drops on their platform. Still looking for some feedback in the comment section, guys. What other proof of stake projects should I add to this though? You guys tell me, right? I want this to be a good tracker for all of us. So when we go live, take a look at this and see what's most beneficial for everybody here. Yeah, no, I think we got some of the biggies there, right? Cardano, Polkadot. Let's take a look at the overall market cap here, though, on CoinGecko. Go to just coins. And maybe we go to, not DeFi. Let's go trolling for suckers here, yeah? There's not really a native BSC token. It's just Binance coin. So we could put BNB in here. Does that sound about right, guys? Not really good reflection on whether or not BSC, like Binance Smart Chain, is operating well. But that's their native utility token, right? Instead of Ethereum, you got to use BNB on their network. So should we add it? Maybe. Jim Van says Zill. Hey, good call. You actually got some skin in the game there too, right? Like any of us who merge mined on eZillMe got some Zill coins lying around. Ooh, somebody says Neo as well. I'm not really a huge fan of Neo. I think I don't know of anybody who's like, oh, I'm a Neo maximalist. You have to literally get paid by them to actually care about Neo. I think. I could be wrong. Yeah, not slander. Just saying. All right, there we go. Oh, no, look at that. Market cap is still in the billions, though. Almost $4 billion. I had no clue they were still, like, not dead. And then Nicholas is saying Luna is also proof of stake. Let's take a quick look. Luna! Luna, mija, vente pa' acá. Okay, here we go. It's Terra. Here we are on terra firma. Luna. It's kind of weird, isn't it? But it's literally that's the name for Earth, Terra, dirt, Terra, and the token symbol is Luna, like the moon. Weird. Who makes these decisions, guys? Somebody from Terra watching, come call me. I'll help you rebrand. It's all the rage these days. Everybody does it, right? Even Matic turned to Polygon. But okay, that's a pretty healthy starting portfolio, guys. I really like this. That's great. Great suggestions. So really, really great suggestions there. I think we're off to a great start. We can always add more in the future, but I'm going to call it a night. Thank you so much for giving those suggestions. This looks great. I can't wait to add all the $1,000 paper trades from May 26th, right? So we've got some sort of history to see how it's performed against all the others, like Bitcoin, right? And like Ethereum Classic and all the rest that we've been tracking for a while now. We can see on level playing field how they've all done in that same time frame. You can get really, really misleading to look at just the last 7 days because we don't know. Maybe 3 months ago, something was even higher and it winds up being a net loss compared to what it looks like over the last 7 days, right? So guys, appreciate you hitting that thumbs up, sharing this video, being subscribed, and clicking the bell icon so you know when media is live. You're the reason I make this media. I love your face. Remember to stay private and mind your biz. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. If you want to be notified of videos like this in the future, first off, click subscribe, press the bell icon. Additionally, you can sign up for the Mind Your Biz email newsletter. That'll give you exclusive access to certain freebies, notifications for deals within the cryptocurrency mining space, as well as some of our flash sales for merchandise, which you can buy with cryptocurrency. That's right. It's the only cryptocurrency merch that you can buy with cryptocurrency. We practice what we preach. As always, thank you so much for watching. You're the reason I make this media. I love your face, and I will see you in the next one.